Welcome. We're here to learn something about cell shading and hair. Let's see what we have, because I've already been working on sketching and outlining before. I went from this sort of basic sketch here, right? That was this lady over here. I went from that to this. I have all the features in here, and the hand and all of that. And I went from there to the outline we just saw. And voila. I've also done 2 other outlines just to experiment a little bit with different things. I've seen another portrait artist work with very thick suggestions of lines, not really quite as clean and straightforward and detailed as this one is. Just a different, more of a painterly approach. Can have its moments. And one in a charcoal texture brush. You know what? I'm gonna go with this sketch over here. Now I want to cell shade this. So it's quite a complicated figure, and it's not super easy to cell shade something so complex, so we have to really pay attention to what the shapes are doing. So the best thing we can do here is to start with a little bit of a background. We stay in gray tones for the moment because I want to talk about colors later. I mean, composition is a whole topic in itself. The first thing I want to do is just give her a mid-tone. I divide this up into 3 tones: a dark, a mid, and a light. I have the dark in the background. So the first thing I have to do is select the figure, doing this with the pen tool over here, because with the pen tool I can draw curves wherever I want to have curves. To select this figure along the outline, to give her one solid color, to make this path into a selection. Make selection. Okay, so I picked a mid-tone here. Don't need that selection anymore. Cool. But I said I'm going to make 3 values out of this, which means I'm going to pick a light, not going neither full black nor full white. So if I want to push the contrast a little bit further on, I want to do that later. I'm going to create a clipping mask here, because then I can keep this outline that I just made carefully and precisely. My cell shading right now turns into a bit of a cell highlighting. What we want to do is put a flat layer of paint in a certain area only. We will plaster that on in full opacity. So I'm taking this brush over here, it's full opacity, every stroke that I make has full force, as you can see. Instantly looks like there's a source of light somewhere. That's great, that's what we want. That also means we have to be very precise when it comes to the shape. We have to be very observant. You see, for instance, her eyelashes throw a little corner of shadow just here, so that we can see the line of the nose has a highlight, but there's a shadow here. Those kinds of details, you know, that's what I'm talking about. The more of those details you get into your picture, the more striking and realistic it's going to look, which it doesn't always have to. If you're going for a cartoonish look, then I would just group this area, you know, for a rather cartoonish look, I would group this area relatively roughly and then just fill it in completely. For a more realistic look, however, I want to be very aware where I put that light. For instance, it does not go all the way to the edge of her forehead here. It folds in a little bit. That's replicating the shadow of the head over here. That I haven't actually, that shape I haven't actually made, so I can just go straight across. So I understand that this line over here from that head, and then I can see that the eyelashes are throwing a shadow right across there. Her eyelid is also like rounded like so, like towards the light source, so it's all going to be in light. I'm putting an eyelash and all that above that later. Part of the eyebrow, that's where light shines through, that's where it's thinning towards the nose, and then it has a little highlight on the hair right here. So we go all the way around here. That's where that shape is. And that's one of the shapes. So I'm really just telling you what my inner monologue is. So that's basically what I'm thinking, what I'm doing. So, but even with all the careful preciseness and measurements and all of that, you might zoom out of the picture. We'll do that right now. You might zoom out of the picture and think, I don't know if that's gonna work. That was a bit early to zoom out. What else do we find? We find that the bridge of the nose is has a tiny highlight going right across. Obviously all of these places have different values, so we really gotta pick which ones you want to group together and which ones we're going to leave. Right, the cell shading part is really just simplifying shadows and highlights and grouping them together to create still a visual of the light and how it falls, but like without being too complicated. So there is technically a line here, but I think if I leave it in, it's going to look weird. So I'm going to group it out into the lights. Leave a little part over here for the tiny bit of nostril that we see there, and then connecting it in and filling in this cheek over here, because that is fully in light. So here we can see again that her mouth, the lower lip is throwing a shadow. So I want to keep that out. And then we're following the chin. Let's have a look how far. Okay, we're following the chin towards inwards here, actually. That's how far the light would stretch. I'll leave this part of the shadow out. This is what her hair is throwing in there. So without drawing her hair, that would look weird. I can decide later if my strand of hair would fall the same way or not. I think out of context, it would look weird. Then I can see a part of her upper lip is also caught in the light. And I can see that her lower lip has a nice little teeny tiny highlight outline. Yeah, let's zoom out and see. Little thingy, the glow, no, the reflection on the eye in here as well, also on this side. Okay. Let's see, that's pretty good so far. I think next I want to highlight some of the shirt. I know it comes out here just a little bit. I want to find that fold, because I did draw the curve. So what I'll do is pick a color that is darker than the background, fill in this here with a darker. Now that I see this against the background, I think it should go a little darker so it stands out from the background even more. I'll just grab my filler tool, grab a shade that is slightly darker. I think that hits the spot. I'm happy with it. From here, I'll pick a couple more areas. There's some hair here. I like that strand of hair because it creates a little bit of contrast against the head. So I like that one. And I can do whatever I like, right? It's my picture. So I like this one. I like how this falls. I'll just try to vary the size with my brush a little bit, because as we go further down with the strand of hair, the thinner it gets. Okay, don't want to overdo that at this point. Just want to throw in some values. Okay, and I want to capture that over here because this strand of hair, this little mark just right there, creates a fantastic difference between head and hat. Alright, want a little bit thicker there. Okay, I like it. I like that so far. So she has a cheeky little strand of hair coming. Yes. Okay, I want to fill in some more dark areas, such as, and also this little bit over here, where we can see the eyeball curve, and the corner of the eye being super dark. I like that. We see a little bit coming out here. Just want to bring out a couple of lashes just so I get an indication of where my eyeball is sitting. And I want to zoom in even further. So there's always a shadow falling onto the iris. For the crease is, it's also dark, but then on here as well. Top of the iris is where I have a bit of a shadow, and then of course the pupil. And I'll take also this line over here. Good old nostril. And then let's check if she has dark areas around the mouth. I think I'm going to create some because I would like there to be some, because her lips are not quite standing out enough in my opinion. That was like nothing just now, but that was just this little corner here where the teeth start. Like the faintest little thing. Yeah, I'll count the eyebrows as dark areas also. Here we are, that's it. So, thank you for watching. I'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. And talking a little bit about blending. The thing that we left out today. So how to blend. So it's probably going to be a little bit longer. We'll see how it goes. We'll stay in the gray tones or monochrome for a minute. Yeah, thanks for being here.
See you next time.